Shabbat Shalom. For those of you, oops, one sec. For those of you who are sitting on the edges, I'm going to invite you to scooch in a little so as people come in, because we have a whole empty section in the middle, and I don't think you want them climbing over you and stepping over you. So we have so much to celebrate on this Shabbat. We are so lucky to be able tonight to have had our first Shabbat, congregational Shabbat dinner since COVID, and that was really exciting and wonderful to be able to actually sit down and share a meal together. Tonight we have the opportunity to bless the new members of our congregation, and we get to bless some new members of the Jewish community as well. And so we start tonight with a song for peace, a prayer for peace. If there's one thing that our world is desperately in need of, it's shalom. Please join us on page 657. Am I right?
Yep.
On the bottom of page 657 with Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. The cantor is homesick tonight, so let's sing so loud that she could hear us from her house.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam Shalom. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam Shalom. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kulam.
So before we welcome the Sabbath Queen, let's take a moment to welcome each other and to introduce yourselves to the people that you're sitting near. Do you want to do a shorter Lachadodi? Cut out one of the verses? Let's cut out a verse. Or let's do, yeah. So do you want to do 1 and 9? Yeah, let's do that. And I'll let Nita know that it's going to be faster. I was just told that the Sabbath Queen is knocking on our doors, desperate to come in and to celebrate with us. So let's let her know that we're ready as we continue on page 138. And we'll be singing verses 1 and 9, page 138.
Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, pene pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, pene pene Shabbat nekabela la 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 lecha. Di likrat likrat kala, pene pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, pene pene Shabbat nekabela. Shamor וזכור ודיבור אחד, השמיענו אל גם יוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשמר תפארת ולי, לה 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 לה, לחדו. פני שבת נקבלה, לך לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהולה, תוך כמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לה 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 לה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
One of the greatest blessings that B'nai Israel has is our incredibly dedicated lay leadership, the hours and hours that our members put in to make this a warm and welcoming community for everyone who enters into it. And so it is my pleasure to invite up the membership committee, whose job it is to make both newcomers feel welcome and those of us who have been around forever to stay connected with each other, to do us the honor of lighting the Shabbat candles. The blessing for the candles can be found on page 120, but first we continue with Shalom Aleichem on page 142.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hashari, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachi Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachi Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light. So may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Barchuni l'shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachi Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedkem l'shalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachi Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu.
We rise for the Chatzi Kaddish on page 146.
Yitgadal v'yitgadash.
Oh, I said Chatzi Kaddish.
You did say the Chatzi Kaddish.
Had way too much sangria. I meant to say, I shouldn't have had it, but it was so good. We rise for the Baruch Hu on page 146. My apologies.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed.
We continue together on the top of page 149. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the tide of time and light. You guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim.
Ahava Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah to mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbenu uvkumenu nasiach bekukecha v'nizmach b'divrei Toratecha u'mitzvotecha leolam va'ed ki hei chayenu ve'oreh Yameinu uvahem nege yomam balayla nege yomam balayla ve'ahavat cha'al tasir mimenu le'olami Baruch atah Adonai, Ohei Amo Yisrael. Ohei Amo Yisrael. Amen. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem kevod malchuto, leolam va'ed. Baruch Shem kevod malchuto, leolam va'ed.
We continue together with the Ve'ahavta on page 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאור על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We continue together on the top of page 158. It's getting ready to clap.
Ya dai 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 ya ba bye bim bam ya bye bim bim bam ya ba bye bim bam dai 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 ya ba bye bim bam ya dai 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 ya ba bye bim bam mi chamocha balim maton chamocha neda bakodesh Nora tehilo, oh sefel. Nora tehilo, oh sefel. Ya bye bye bim bim bam, ya bye bye bim bam, ya bye bye bim bim bam, ya bye bye bim bam. Die 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 die, ya bye bye bim bam, die 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 die, ya bye bye bim bam. Ma'alechutecha yavavu banecha Bokei ayam litnei Moshe u'Miriam Ze'eli anu ve'ameru An lo leolam va'ed Yabai bye bim bim bam Yabai bye bim bam Yabai bye bim bim bam Yabai bye bim bam Die, 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 yabba bye, bye, bim, bam, die, 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 yabba bye, bye, bim, bam. ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל Yisrael. That's a good question. Now these, I'm going to do guide my steps.
Sometimes life can feel overwhelming and a little much, And sometimes we need a little bit of extra help. Sometimes what we simply need is to feel like there's someone who's helping guide our steps. The words for some of the Hashkiveni will be on page 160, but we don't have the words for all of this version in the book, so feel free to just sit with the prayer and to listen to the words.
Oh, guide my steps. Help me find my way. I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps. Help me make this day a song of praise to you. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps. Ufros aleinu sukkah shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukkah shlomecha. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps.
It's my pleasure to invite up all of our B'nai Mitzvah students to come and join us with their prayer books on the Bima as we continue on page 162.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברי עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברי עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברי עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברי עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We rise for the tefillah beginning on page 164.
Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekoneh Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Hoshia Umagen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Be'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol, Atah Rav LeHoshia, Mashiv HaRuach, Umarich HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rahim, Somech Noflim Verofeh Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Ishenei Achar, Mi Kamocha Al Gevurot, Umidom Elah, Melech Memis, Umekayem, Umasmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lechayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim b'chol yom yehelucha selcha. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
We continue praying privately from page 172 through 180, standing or sitting as is your custom.
Ose shalom bimromav, uyase shalom alein ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Ose shalom bi Roma, uyase shalom alein ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Ose shalom bimro say shalom aleinu be'al kol ye Israel Imeru amen. Oh, say shalom be rumal Uya say shalom aleinu be'al kol ye Israel ve'imeru amen.
We take some time each and every Shabbat to remember that there are those in our community and those in our lives who perhaps are not able to be with us tonight or in our daily lives because they're suffering from some sort of illness, either an illness that is slowing their body down or an illness that is weighing heavy on their soul or on their minds. And so we take a moment to remember that they are still a part of our community, and if they're not able to come and to be here with us, then we have an obligation to go out and to meet them where they are. So as we pray tonight for those in need of a refuah shlema, a complete healing of body or spirit, I ask of you to think of those in your lives who are in need of healing and ask, how might you assist them in this time? How can you reach out to them to let them know that they are not alone? We continue on page 371.
Mi shebera avotenu Avraham Yitzhak veYaakov Mi shebera imotenu Sarah Rivka Leah veRachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Bless us with the vision for tomorrow. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way. Mi shebera avotenu Mi shebera imotenu. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well.
We are taught that Rabbi Akiva, one of the great sages that lived 2,000 years ago, one of the architects for the Judaism that we practice today, of Rabbinic Judaism, was illiterate at the age of 40. And at the age of 40, he decided to learn the Aleph Bet. And then he ended up becoming one of the greatest scholars that the Jewish people ever had. He's a reminder to us that we are never too old to begin our Jewish journey, that even someone who starts maybe a little bit later than what is typical can still become a leader in our community, who can still become a teacher to not just those in his own time, but in the generations that come later as well. Well, we are blessed tonight to have two people who perhaps did not start at the youngest age possible to start on their Jewish journey, but most certainly have caught up really quickly. And so it's my pleasure to invite two of our newer members to do us the honor of giving us the drosh tonight. I'd like to invite up Carrie Lewis and her daughter Madison, who, like Rabbi Akiva, have jumped right in to the Jewish waters of learning.
Hello. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
You up here, right? No? Okay. A couple of years ago, I attended a self-care workshop where the trainer talked about belonging as something that we all desire. At home, at work, in our communities. She talked about the importance of social connection. She talked about that importance as being one of our most basic needs. And without it, it can actually cause us to feel pain, both physically and psychologically. This concept really resonated with me. And as I took time to reflect, I realized how my own quest for belonging has permeated various areas of my life, both positively and negatively over the years, and how my feelings about being Jewish have changed over time. My search for belonging began at a very young age. I was an only child of a single mother, spending the majority of my time with babysitters and sleepovers at friends' houses. I would find myself window shopping for families that looked like the ones on TV. The nuclear family where the kid had both parents, there were siblings to play with and joke around with. I grew up in Wheaton, Illinois, which meant that most of my friends were either evangelical Christians or Catholics. Regardless of what they were, they all went to church on Sunday. And so they would often bring me with them, and I would sit with the parents while my friends went to Sunday school. When it came time to rise and join the line to take the body of Christ, even though I knew I wasn't supposed to, I often did, just to feel like I belonged. I always hated being the only one in the pew, sitting in the pew, clearly an outsider to everyone else. But I wasn't the only Jew in Wheaton. There were two other kids at my school. I tried to befriend one girl, even though she was in the more popular group, but I quickly scared her off, boasting about how I was Jewish too. And in my family, we would light the Torah at Hanukkah. Clearly, my understanding of being Jewish was minimal. And more often than not, I really experienced negative reactions when I would tell people I was Jewish. So eventually I stopped talking about it and often tried to hide it from those around me. Outside Wheaton, I had a peripheral connection to the Jewish community. It was through my grandparents who lived in Highland Park. And although they were very active in their temple, I rarely attended services with them because we lived pretty far away. What few memories I have include feeling very lost and disconnected during services, not knowing any of the prayers or the other kids who went there. My grandfather retired when I was in elementary school, and he and my grandmother bought a condo in Lake Worth, Florida, and became snowbirds. They lived in a Jewish retirement community where grandkids and families would often come to visit during the holidays. I eventually made a friend named Jen, who was from Long Island. She and her brother and parents would frequently be there at the same time as I was there, and her family took me in, often inviting me to dinner after long days in the pool. I loved being an adopted member of Jen's family. When I was in 7th grade, her family invited me to go to Long Island and visit them. I'd never been to New York. I was so excited to go. Looking back now, I realize how incredibly profound this trip was for me. It was my first window into a positive Jewish life from a kid's perspective. The majority of people in Jen's life were Jewish. Jen's friends were even Jewish. They all went to temple, and they were a tight-knit group, talking about all of their bat and bar mitzvahs coming up. They ate bagels. They celebrated the Jewish holidays and went to Jewish summer camps together. I lived vicariously through their sense of connection, traditions, and community. And before I went home, I bought a Star of David necklace, which I proudly wore around my neck. It was the first time that I felt proud to be Jewish, the first time that I felt connected to my heritage, until I went home. Anti-Semitism was prevalent in Wheaton. My first memory of it was when I was about 7 years old. I was really close to the neighbor kids, and I played with them every day, until one day when they told me that they could no longer be my friend because they found out I was Jewish. From that day forward, going outside and playing around the house was no longer fun for me. There were other anti-Semitic experiences along the way: losing friends, getting teased about my nose, random people telling me that I was going to hell, as well as countless jokes and jabs about the Jews, a few intentionally if they knew I was Jewish, but more often unknowingly as just standard humor. So by the time I went to Long Island, I was pretty jaded about what it meant to be a Jew, in Wheaton anyway, which squashed my general desire to let people know. When I returned from my trip, I wore my necklace proudly for a few days, and then quietly put it away, never wearing it again. Sadly, I stopped going to Florida as often, and eventually I lost touch with Jen and her family. In the years that followed, religious conversations in my own family became quite polarized. My grandmother converted to Catholicism, and my mother married a devout atheist. The conversations were pretty incredible. My family joined a Unitarian church in my teens, and again in my 20s, but after a year or two, I stopped going, and when asked about my faith, I told people I was agnostic, rarely ever mentioning that I was Jewish. When Madison was born, neither her father nor I felt any attachment to any religion and decided that she could choose her own path if she ever expressed interest. We moved to Sacramento, and this is where Madison's story begins.
Shabbat Shalom. When I was asked to write this Josh, I was a little skeptical at first because it's a lot of people and I've never talked in front of this many people before. But I still wanted to share my experience of coming to a temple after not growing up going to one. As a child, I knew close to nothing about Judaism. Unlike my mom, I would light a menorah on Hanukkah, not a Torah. And I read Anne Frank's diary in 3rd grade, and that's where my Jewish side of me ended. It was to the point where if I was asked by someone what my religion or culture was, the answer was going to be, I'm a little Jewish, I guess, or a Catholic. My parents divorced before I could talk, so I never got the chance to point to them and say, I'm sticking with this side and being Jewish, or the other and being Catholic. I had grown up in an elementary school where all of my friends were Christian or Catholic. One of them once said to me, oh, she's Jewish, but don't worry, she still believes in God, so it's okay and we can be her friend. I ended that friendship, to say the least. But being around all of the Christian beliefs and seeing how so many people with so many differences can all come together and praise or pray to the same person, I wanted to be a part of that. I started to get angry at my parents for not pushing me to be a part of any of it and even wanted to be baptized at one point. My mom and I went to Costa Rica in 2021, and we met a Jewish family from Long Island. Besides one of their sons being a little cute, I was highly intrigued by them. They were all speaking Hebrew to each other, and at that point, I had never even heard what Hebrew sounded like, and it made me want to connect with that side of me more. I asked my mom why we never gone to a temple, why I don't have Jewish friends, and why I can't speak Hebrew like them. Well, it took almost a year. We waited for COVID to ease up and for the temple to open up again. After we got back, we eventually did become a member at this temple. Yeah. We started to go to services every Friday night, and it had become a habit that we never missed one unless we were out of town or extremely busy. We slowly made some friends and started to hang out with them outside of temple as well. It was amazing to be around so many Jewish people who understood the things that others could not. I was still awkward around the kids, and summer was coming up, and so less and less of them were showing. I then went on a cruise that summer, and they had a Shabbat on the ship, so we went. It was very different and felt a little weird, but they had really good challah, so it was okay. When I came back, my mom had heard about Camp Newman and decided to send me there. During my time at camp, I made so many friends and memories that will stick with me forever, and I am so grateful for the experience. After we all got back, all the friends that I made became inseparable. All of us go to temple together Friday, Saturday, and Sunday every weekend. We all party at the bar and bat mitzvahs together, and our group has started getting bigger with additional people in our Sunday school class. We've become our own little community that I now consider my chosen family. I am having a bat mitzvah in April, learning Hebrew, and I have friends from Israel, which actually came to hear me talk today, who teach me Hebrew every day and want to show me around where they grew up. I'm so happy with how far I've come with my Jewish side, and I couldn't ask for anything better than what I have now. And I can say reassuringly that my mom would do the same.
When Madison and I were in Costa Rica and we met the family from Long Island, so many memories came back to me. I remembered how Jen's family had so deeply touched that part of me that longed to connect with Jewish community. In Costa Rica, I remember spending the morning in our Airbnb with monkeys going by the windows, looking at a variety of websites for temples in the Sacramento area. When I got to the B'nai Israel website, we watched some of the Zoom recordings of past Shabbat services and really loved the casual and fun banter between Rabbi and Cantor. We were excited for COVID to ease up and eventually be able to come check things out in person. I remember the first time we came to visit. It was March 3rd, 2022, and Melissa Grand gave us a tour. She talked about the generations of people who've been part of this community for years. She showed us around, she talked about the history, she pointed out the faces of past presidents and families that had been here for over the years. She talked about her kids growing up at Temple and how wonderful the community had been to her and her family. Madison and I loved our visit, and we were excited to finally come to service in person. We showed up the following Friday for Shabbat, and as Madison mentioned, we hit the ground running. The first family we met were the Roths. They greeted us warmly and made us feel right at home. At the Oneg, we met Davida and Seth, and I remember talking Seth's ear off about medicine since Madison said she was interested in the medical field. Davida and I connected over our Midwest backgrounds, and it felt like we'd been friends for years. Shortly thereafter, Madison met Rachel Chancellor. Rachel made her feel right at home, with multiple opportunities to connect with kids, and she connected with her. Before we knew it, we were making friends, more and more friends every week. In April, just 1 month after our tour with Melissa, we received a gift membership from the Roth family. The Roth family welcomed us so warmly in weeks prior. Since then, Madison and I have been active members. For us, everything is new and everything is exciting. We're seeing and experiencing what it means to truly choose to be Jewish and experience the joy of being Jewish that Cantor always emphasizes. For the last year, Madison and I have been coming to dinners, talks, services, High Holy Days, and B'nai Mitzvahs. Each of us joined our own B'nai Mitzvah class. Huge thank you to Rabbi Stacy and Cantor Julie and Lisa for helping us learn Hebrew. As a mother, my heart soars when I see the friendships Madison has made with the other kids in this amazing community. Seeing her joy truly feeds my soul. Like Madison, I have also made so many wonderful friends here. People I've met in services, parents of Madison's B'nai Mitzvah class, fellow students in the adult B'nai Mitzvah class, many other members, staff, and volunteers who keep this incredible community alive. And when we've been in need, this network has come through in ways that I never imagined. This week I was in a car accident, and although I'm physically fine, I was pretty shaken up. It meant the world to me to receive phone calls and text messages from those who'd heard, reaching out to see if we were okay and to see if there was anything they could do. Jen, your homemade lentil soup still warms my heart. Madison and I have found a home here at B'nai Israel. We found our community, and with it, our sense of belonging. Because of this, we can truly say that 2022 was one of the best years of our lives, and so is 2023.
One second. Sorry, almost done. Thank you all so much for inviting us to share our story and for being here to welcome us as new members. From the bottom of our heart and the top and all in between, my mom and I thank you so much for welcoming us into this community. And that necklace that my mom talked about not wearing again has been around my neck more days than not since we found our way here. Now I can. Don't forget the jacket.
But don't go anywhere because we're going to bless all the new members. You guys can stay there.
Oops. Well, I hope that all of our new members find the sense of community that the two of you have found here in our congregation. I'd like to invite up all of our new members, all the families that have, and individuals who have joined in the last 3 years. Please come and join us on the Bima. And I'd like to invite our membership committee to please also to come up and to help us.
Wow, okay. So did not realize that we had this many new members. I was going to have our membership committee hold a tallit over your head, but instead, I'm going to have all the new members kind of stand under the giant chuppah in the middle. So get close. The psalmist taught, "Blessed are they who dwell in your house. They shall praise you forever." This is now your house as well. One of the blessings of being Jewish is the ability to go into any new community and to find new friends, a new family, just like that. Hopefully by just walking in the door and saying hello, those who are there will say, "Welcome in." Above our heads, we have a giant chuppah modeled after Abraham's tent, open on all sides, no walls, no doors, no barriers to keep people from joining us in our community. I pray that you always feel that this is an open home for you to come in, to find shelter, to find comfort, and most of all, to find joy. We come here to unite with all who maintain synagogues for tefillah, for prayer, for Torah, for study, and for ma'asim tovim, good deeds. May we learn how good it is to live in community, to open our hearts to Torah and to all that is holy. And as we are one in worship, so may we be one in purpose for whatever reason we gather, dedicated to loving and serving God, the Jewish community, and the world with all our hearts, with all our souls, and with all our might. And let us say, Amen. Okay, get cozy, touch the shoulder of somebody who is near you, because the way that we bring God's presence in the world is when we touch each other's lives. The Shekhinah dwells in our midst when we're not afraid to become a part of something bigger than ourselves. And when we touch another's lives with kindness, with compassion, with love, and with healing, then the Holy One dwells in our midst. Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
Yiratzon.
Ye'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka.
Ken yehi ratzon.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
Ken yehi ratzon.
May the Holy One bless you and keep you. May the Holy One turn towards each and every one of you with kindness and with compassion. May the Holy One bless each and every one of you with long and healthy lives, lives that are filled with the joy of studying and the joy of doing what is good and what is right. But most of all, may the Holy One bless each and every one of you with shalom, with peace. And let us say, Amen. And Mazel Tov!
Simen tova, mazel tova, mazel tova, simen tova, simen tova, mazel tova, mazel tova, simen tova. Yehelanu, 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 ulecho Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael.
It's closed. You can have a little bit of a breather, but I'm going to be back up there in just a second. So one of the best parts of being a rabbi is being able to be part of a person's journey as they choose to become Jewish. For those of us who are born Jews, we often take for granted what it means to have a Jewish community, to have a Jewish family, to be a part of a community like this. But for so many, they may grow up in a faith that doesn't quite fit right, or they may grow up in no faith at all. They may be searching for a community or for a sense of meaning or a sense of connection. And for those who choose to pitch their tents with us, to become a part of the Jewish people, it is a thoughtful choice. It's not something, especially in this day and age, it's not something that is done casually and without real thought and real concern. And just as if you meet a naturalized citizen, the odds are they probably know more about American history, politics, and the way that our country works than somebody who was born here, the same is true for those who choose to be Jewish. Unlike those of our kids in religious school, they pay attention when the rabbi talks. And to be a part of that journey with someone is inspiring, to say the least. Each year, Cantor and I say that it helps us fall back in love with Judaism again and again and again when we see it through new eyes. And so it really is a joy to be able to invite up Sarah Thompson, Erica Bender, Lisa Roth, and Lucy Cheadle to join us on the Bima. This Tuesday, we had the pleasure of taking 3 of these 4 women to the Beit Din.
One went back in November, but then I think she got engaged or something, had something else to do, and wasn't able to be part of the blessing. And so Lucy is joining us tonight. For a lot of us who were raised Jewish, converting to Judaism is kind of a mystery. It's not something we learn about in religious school, and it's really not something until relatively recently we really talk about. And I think that's a shame, because if you really want to fall in love with Judaism, talk to somebody who has fallen in love with it as an adult. And so Cantor asked me to apologize to the four of you. She's really sick. She really wanted to be here with each of you, and she's sorry she's not part of this final journey. And so I'd like to ask the congregation to please rise again. And I would like to ask the Board of Trustees to please to accompany us at the Bima. If you're looking to serve on the board and you're over 6 feet tall, we have positions for you. Bruchim habaim b'shem Adonai. Blessed are you who come here in God's name. Barachnuchem mi beit Adonai. We bless you in God's house. At this sacred and joyous moment, we renew the covenant at Sinai between God and the people of Israel, recalling the words of the prophet Isaiah, "Strangers shall join them and shall cleave to the house of Israel." O God, we thank you for your many blessings. We thank you for the truth you have revealed to all humanity. And above all, we thank you for the gift of Torah, which has ever been a light for our path. We recall with reverence and gratitude all those descendants of Abraham and Sarah who have been faithful to you, and those who of their own choice have sought to serve you through the faith in the people of Israel. O God, grant your loving favor to Sarah, Erica, Lisa, and Lucy, as in this holy place we welcome them into a Jewish life. Each of you stand before the open ark and before the commanding presence of the Torah, the Jewish people's most cherished treasure. It has led us on the way and guided us ever since we received it at Sinai. It has been carried during the times of our greatest rejoicings and when we fled from burning synagogues and villages. And tonight we will place the Torah in each of your arms. Every born Jew is so happy they're not you at this moment. I pray that you take this Torah to your heart as we all together recite the Shema, the words on the lips of every Jew at the moment until death, the affirmation that has sustained the Jewish people in life since our very beginnings.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod
You passed your first test by not dropping the Torah. Each of you are known by the names that your parents gave you. And those names mean that you will always be linked in love to those who gave you life. But from this time forth, you shall also be known within the Jewish community by the names that you have chosen. Liza bat Sarah Imenu. Wait. Urit bat Abraham v'Sarah. Esther Alona bat Abraham v'Sarah. And Eliana Shlomit bat Abraham v'Sarah. Clearly you're all family now, because y'all have the same parents. May these names bring respect to you and honor to the Jewish people. We rejoice to welcome each of you into our midst who have willingly and devotedly helped replenish the ranks of our people. And as our people have done throughout the ages, I ask for God's blessing with these words.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May the Holy One bless you and keep you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May the Holy One turn towards you with kindness and with compassion.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom v'yasem lecha shalom.
May the Holy One bless each of you with long life and loving families and a lifetime filled with joy and meaning. May each of you find your own path within this congregation and this community, whether it be on the Board of Trustees, which you're all now eligible to be on, as students or as teachers. May you find a place where you feel at home. But most of all, whenever you are amongst the Jewish people, may you feel a sense of shalom. And let us say, Amen. Mazel tov.
Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov. Yehelanu, 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 Lechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Lechol Yisrael.
So please be seated. So one of the things that you will discover is that we put everything in writing. There's a reason why there are a lot of Jewish attorneys. It is in the fabric of our community to want to put everything in a contract. This is not exactly a contract, but it is valid and binding. And so I have for each of you your Teudat Gerut, your certificate of formally joining the Jewish people. Sarah, sorry, like you're standing in different places than at the Ark. Erica and Lisa. And Lucy, yours is in the office. We'll get it for you later.
I did sign it.
You did sign it. So mazel tov to each of you. And probably the happiest person here tonight is the president of our congregation, who is so delighted that we have so many new community members in our congregation. It's my pleasure to invite up Josh Mastronardi, the president of our congregations.
Shabbat Shalom. And thank you to Rabbi and Michael for wonderful service. Thank you to Carrie and Madison for sharing your story and your journey that brought you here. I want to thank the confirmation class, they may be able to hear us, for putting on a wonderful second Shabbos dinner, stepping up to do that. That was amazing. I want to thank the membership committee for all their hard work in organizing and putting together this special night. And I want to thank all of our congregants. And I want to welcome our new congregants and our new Jews, because the congregants are what makes the congregation possible. I was told that I missed my opportunity on Shabbat Shirah last week to sing the announcements. So you all dodged that one. Tonight, after services, join us for the Oneg, sponsored by the membership committee. Tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Torah study on Zoom. On Sunday, after Kulanu, at 3 o'clock, if you're looking for somewhere to watch the big game, Brotherhood is hosting a watch party in the social hall. Lots of fun goings on there. All congregants and friends are welcome. You don't need to be a member, no charge. Brotherhood's providing hot dogs. There's an RSVP that's in the Hadashot, or come find me or any Brotherhood members you know, and I'll get you the info on that. At 4 o'clock, if you're not interested in the big game, the Racial Justice Committee is hosting a book discussion on a reading of a book about defunding fear. There's registration for that, so check that out. Coming up next Friday, another special Shabbat service celebrating the rabbinic ordination of our very own Rabbi Denny Deutsch Marshall. So come for that. On March 3rd, in a few weeks, is the Women of B'nai Israel Shabbat, and they are also, the Women of B'nai Israel are also hosting that as Reproductive Rights Shabbat here at CBI. There's going to be a special program before services, and then a Shabbat honoring the Women of B'nai Israel that night. And then that leads us into, it's coming sooner than you know it, Purim, starting on March 5th, that's a Sunday, the Purim Carnival. On Monday, March 6th is Purim, starting with the pasta dinner hosted by the confirmation class, the Megillah reading, and then no fewer than 4 people came up to me and said, you need to talk about the Purim spiel because it's going to be awesome. It's going to be live in person here as well as live streamed. It has a special spy thriller theme. I heard it's going to be great, so come check that out. Later in March, March 19th, is the new member morning mixer. There'll be more details on that coming soon. And we also have, there are summer camp scholarships available, but the deadlines for those are coming soon. One of them is this weekend, the February 12th, and another is the 20th. So again, check out the Hadashot, it has all the information on those and all the other goings on. And so now I'd like to invite the members of the Board of Trustees, any past presidents, and any committee chairs to stand up and introduce yourselves.
My name is Steve Orkhand. I'm a past president.
Rachel Stern, VP of Education.
Davida Levin Robinson, VP of Membership. And the new member morning mixer, for those who have seen it in the last probably like 4 or 5 years, it's an amazing, amazing program. I'll be sending out information about that. And Jen Zoppel is somewhere around this room, so please wave if you're here. But come see us, and it's like a packed program on a Sunday morning from like 10:30 to about 12:30. So I hope to see you. The other thing is too, we are going to be reforming our young group of the Sababa, which is like the 20s, 30s, young 40s. I've been getting a list of names. If anybody's interested tonight, come find me at the Oneg. I'm going to be kind of forming something, and we're going to have something probably fun at the rabbi's house. I just volunteered your house.
Helen Roth Dowden, member at large.
Eve Panish, Women of B'nai Israel Leadership Council. Judy Emick Leatherwood, Chair of the Music Committee, Wrangler of the Choir, and Scheduler of people to chant Torah on non-B'nai Mitzvah Shabbats.
I'm Brian Landsberg, co-chair of the Religious Practices Committee.
Jason Weiner, Chair of Social Action.
Margaret Gladstein, member of the Board of Trustees.
Hi, I'm Jeff Aaron, past president, 20 years ago this year starting.
You don't look a day older, Jeff. Michael Hersher, chair of the Lifelong Learning Committee.
All right, thank you, everybody. Shabbat Shalom.
Josh, I have to say I'm a little disappointed in announcements because when you mentioned you could have sang last week, I thought you were going to do it this week. Yeah, maybe next year. It's my pleasure to invite up all our B'nai Mitzvah students again to do us the honor of leading us in the Aleinu. The Aleinu can be found on the bottom half of page 586. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. ואלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך. כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. I'm just going to catch fire. Do you want to just take off the paper? That's making me nervous. Thanks. Our thoughts now turn to loved ones who are no longer with us, and it is with sadness that we recall the recent passing of Ann Jacobson, the beloved wife of Ray Jacobson, beloved mother of Kevin, Bruce, and Tracy Fine, beloved stepmother of Paul Jacobson, and stepmother-in-law of Jeanette Jacobson, and beloved grandmother of Maeve, Ashley, Benjamin, Sylvie, and Claire. Also with sadness, we recall the recent passing of Barbara Hershenson, the beloved mother of Damon Hershenson and beloved grandmother of Dakota and Ryan Hershenson. Zichronam livracha. May their memories forever be a blessing. We also recall loved ones who have passed away at this time in years past. We remember Betsy Ackerman, Miriam Anapolsky, Greg Bender, Lois Bialik, Rhea Crane Blackman, Edward Brodkey, Lita Buss, Shirley Chancellor, Eva Cohen, Nicole Cohen Kapoor, Estelle Diamond, Nathan Ehrenreich, Robert Benjamin Gale, Thelma Neft Geller, Leah Godofsky, Tilly Goodman, Bella Grossman, H. William Gunther, Alice Hoke, Marvin Holzer, Mel Leiserwitz, Jerome Lip, Rachel Lorenzo, Mary Mason, Natalie McCarthy, Michael Meltzer, Betty Mendenhall, Sylvia Millman, Esther De Miara, Albert Ostroff, Hugh Robinson, Robert Romer, Diana Ruday, Daniel Sachs, Elliot Sanders, Leonard Schoenman, Eleanor Schwartz, Samuel Sibner, Mildred Underwood, Ruth Warhoftig, Gay Weinberger, Cora Wiesenthal, Marge Williams, Eli Winkle, Glenna Weissman, and Susan Wolfson. If there are any names that anyone would like to add tonight to the Kaddish list, please feel free to call those names aloud when my gaze meets yours.
Lillian Zinderman.
If you're saying Kaddish for a loved one tonight, I'd like to invite you to please rise, and for the congregation to please join me in these words of comfort. Hamakom yenechem etchem betog sha'ar avlei Tzion v'Yushalayim. May God comfort you among the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. We rise as a community to offer comfort to those who grieve as we continue together on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach hirotei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'emru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam umei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shemei dekudsha, barichu, le'elah min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shalom Rabbah min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mamav, uyaseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, amen. Michael, what beautiful thoughts do you have for us to close our service with tonight?
I have a song by a not Jewish songwriter named Carrie Newcomer, who is from the Midwest, but she's a very spiritual person, and she writes songs that are very much of an interfaith and sort of globally spiritual nature. And she wrote this song, which strangely enough fits in completely perfectly with tonight, because it's about making choices, and it's about making choices now, in the present, which is when it matters. And every day you got to get up and make choices again. Being a Jew is a choice. Being a good person is a choice. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment or place in time again. If not now, tell me when. I see sorrow, trouble in this land. I see sorrow and trouble in this land. Although there will be struggle, we'll make the change we can. If not now, tell me when. I may never see the promised land. I may never see the promised land. And yet we'll take the journey and walk it hand in hand. If not now, if not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment or place in time again. If not now, if not now, tell me when. So we'll work till it's done, every daughter and every son, every soul that ever longed for something better, something brighter. It'll take a change of heart for this to mend. It will take a change of heart for this to mend. But miracles do happen every shining now and then. If not now, if not now, tell me when. But miracles do happen every shining now and then. If not now, if not now, tell me when.
Doesn't smell as good as the sangria, but it's not bad.
Oh,
You
it
get
is
the-
wine.
It is wine. So we conclude our service with the Kiddush and the Motzi, after which there is a fabulous oneg sponsored by our membership committee just waiting for us in the social hall. So we can, the Kiddush can be found on page 123.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hilanu zikaron lemahaseh bereshit ki hu yotechila lemikra kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim kivanu vacharta veotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinkaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. L'chaim. U'tuvo.
So we have the sad little challah in here so that you could have a lovely untouched challah out there. So this is simply for blessing purposes. Don't come up and I definitely don't recommend trying to.
Unless you have a
It's
hacksaw.
still soft in the middle. So for those of you who haven't been with us on Shabbat, since COVID, we now have a decorative, it's a real challah. We just don't want to eat this one. But there is sliced, fresh, fluffy challah waiting for us at the oneg.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom.